This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We are glad to have you join us. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. We start with the health sector. Nigeria has joined the global community to commemorate the 2020 World Kidney Day. This year's focus is to raise awareness on the increasing burden of kidney diseases worldwide and to strive for kidney health for everyone, everywhere. The 2020 campaign highlights the importance of prevention and intervention to avert the onset and progression of kidney disease. Let's now join Murjanatu Adam Said for more.
Globally, kidney disease represents 12 causes of death and 17 causes of disability. In Nigeria, the situation represents 8 to 10% of hospital admission and cardiovascular disease.
We don't need to get into denial when this disease is there. We need to we respect their faith. People should hold on to their faith, whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, but at the same time, seek medical advice. Take the medications prescribed by your doctors.
The fact still remains, undiagnosed patients with end-stage renal failure represent the entire burden of kidney disease.
People get high on substance addictive pain medications. Talking about the symptoms, generalized body swellings. They notice that their urine output is reduced. Repeated bouts of vomiting
can be caused by dehydration, use of wrong medications without prescription, reduction in blood volume.
The plight of patients with kidney disease has not been easy even in developed nations.
When the blood sugar is high, it also affects the kidneys, called diabetic nephropathy. Then hypertension too, which is a chronic kidney disease, the chronic disease in the world now is on the high side. It's also known to cause kidney disease, CKD, which we call chronic kidney disease. So if people are hypertensive and they don't know, they don't go to the hospital, the kidneys may start malfunctioning. And sometimes may not even be detected because they may not have symptoms.
Early detection, experts say, is key as most of the patients cannot cope with financial burden of renal replacement therapy. In Abuja, Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
It's 5 days already into the 2020 World Glaucoma Week, and advocacy groups in the country are not relenting in efforts to draw a spotlight on the second leading cause of blindness globally after cataract. Let's bring you some quick facts on the eye-ravaging disease. We do know that glaucoma comes with no symptoms and has no cure. Left untreated, it causes progressive damage to vision until it gets to irreversible blindness. Again, we know that early diagnosis delays progression of the disease. Glaucoma can be managed for a lifetime with medications, surgery and laser treatments amongst other options. Finally, our 2018 data generated by the Federal Ministry of Health indicated that at that time, about 2 million Nigerians over 40 years suffer from glaucoma, with 360,000 resulting to blindness. Dr. Okolo John Paul, consultant ophthalmologist, Tulsi Shangrai Foundation Eye Hospital, Abuja, joins me now in the studio to speak on some of these issues. You're welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Glaucoma, we understand, is one of the eye diseases that comes with no symptoms or signs. So how do we detect it early?
Well, it's very important because this disease, actually I'll start by saying that glaucoma is referred to as a thief of sight. It has no warning. You know, a thief comes in and doesn't give you warning. It comes, and this way glaucoma operates, comes in without warning and steals away your blindness gradually. You know, so in this case, what happens is that creating awareness is very important. Because it comes without warning, lots of people present even to our clinics blind already without knowing. They just tell you they wake up and they had this gradual diminution in vision. So it's important to create awareness. Creating awareness is very important in the schools, the children, in the hospitals, in the worship centers and everywhere. And there are diagnostic instruments that are used.
When you say create awareness about
glaucoma as an eye, a disease, a pathology.
At what point should I present myself?
At any point, you know, most especially if there's a positive family history of glaucoma, you have relatives who have gone blind from glaucoma, you hear about glaucoma anywhere, make yourself available to the nearest eye specialist to have yourself screened for glaucoma.
Okay.
Come in, you know, we check your intraocular pressure, we do a dilated fundoscopy for you, we carry out diagnostic tests as the OCTs, the HFAs, also known as the visual field analysis. These are tests that helps us detect glaucoma early.
Okay.
Because glaucoma has no symptoms. For instance, malaria might have symptoms like headaches and fever, but glaucoma gives you no symptoms.
We also know that research has shown that children around the age of 7 and adults over 40 years seem to be the likely victims. Why is this so?
Okay. Now, it is known, facts have it from research that as one increases or advances in age, the angles in the eye, they are the angles in the eye known as the drainage angles. It has the tissue known as the trabecular meshwork. So it is believed that as one advances in age, this meshwork, which is responsible for the drainage of the fluid known as the aqueous produced in the eye, it becomes occluded, it becomes blocked as one advances in age. That is why you have it in adults as they advance in age, and from 40 years and above.
Children?
In children, there are the group of glaucoma called primary congenital glaucoma. It's divided further into 3. You have the true congenital, which occurs in children. These children are born with it.
Is it inherited?
Yes. No, they are born with it, yes. There's an inheritance fashion. They are born with it. It's known as the true congenital glaucoma. You have the infantile glaucoma. These occur in children from birth and the age of 3.
So how is that corrected?
Now, these ones come with symptoms. You know, it said that glaucoma, the thief of sight, comes without symptoms. But those in children come in symptoms. Okay. You see a child is born and the child has severe photophobia. That's inability to look at light with excessive blinking of the eyes, called blepharospasms, and also tearing. And some of these children, they have large eyeballs, you know, with megalocornea. And on further examination, you notice that they have breaks in their cornea, known as the herb striae. So when mothers notice that, look, my pikin no feel look light, you know, it look like with a blinking eye, plenty and everything, tearing, then they should come.
Okay.
We examine these children further and we make a diagnosis of either true congenital, infantile or juvenile glaucoma.
Okay, are there things that we do as humans that could aggravate this situation?
Yeah, there are lots of things we do. Some people walk into the chemist and just buy eye drops. There are these eye drops known as steroids that cause glaucoma. There are individuals among the world population, there are those that are known as steroid responders. So individuals go to chemists without visiting a proper eye specialist and say, I have an eye problem, my eye is red. And these pharmacists might just give these drugs known as steroids to them. Okay. And these drugs, steroids, can cause glaucoma. Okay, then individuals or children who have, who generally are prone to, eye injuries. Eye injuries can cause glaucoma also. Then there are some systemic diseases like diabetes that can cause glaucoma. They are associated with glaucoma. But glaucoma also has its main risk factors. What would be your
final word?
Well, my final word to Nigeria and the populace is please make yourself available for proper screening for glaucoma. Find the nearest hospital that has an ophthalmologist and get yourself screened for glaucoma to prevent its damaging effects.
Thank you very much for coming on Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Still talking health, hours after the World Health Organization declared the novel coronavirus a pandemic, the Nigerian government has issued a travel advisory advising its citizens from traveling to China, Japan, South Korea, Italy and Iran. Minister of Health Osagi Ehanire made the declaration during an interaction with the diplomatic community at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, restating that the 2 established coronavirus cases in Nigeria are responding to treatment. Usman Aliyu has that.
While the risks of further spread of the coronavirus increased around the world according to the World Health Organization, Nigeria has intensified efforts to contain the spread here. The government is rehabilitating treatment centers and is training clinicians as part of its rapid response mechanism. Here, the federal government organized this interaction with ambassadors and heads of missions in Nigeria on the situation so far in the country. The idea is just to enhance cooperation among global citizens to suppress the transmission. Nigeria explains to the global community measures put in place, more especially the checks at ports of entries, demand of travel records, medical examination for those with symptoms, as well as isolation centers for confirmed cases.
Nigeria has not yet placed any travel restriction or ban, but has strongly advised against non-essential travel to countries with high level of transmission, which we define now as China, Japan, South Korea, Italy, and Iran. We also routinely require travelers from these countries to be in isolation for 14 days after entering Nigeria. This will be revised always according to the assessed level of risk.
The diplomats were also briefed by the Nigeria Immigration Service on the new visa policy, including the visa on arrival for tourists.
From 3 categories that we previously had to now 79 categories of visa.
An open communication like this is deliberately demonstrating Nigeria's policy strategy, which is striking for more diplomatic relations by making nations who have ties with Nigeria to simply understand reasons for some actions. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
The Cross River State government is taking a proactive step through the setting up of an isolation center with state-of-the-art facilities to curtail the spread of the coronavirus should there be any case of the disease in the state. Achibong Basi reports that this initiative is in collaboration with the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital, where a standard World Health Organization complaint isolation center has been established.
The availability of a standard World Health Organization compliant isolation center may be described as a blessing to Cross River State. With this isolation center in place, the Cross River State government says it is readily providing the basic equipment to enable the facility to function optimally.
When we have people that need to be isolated, whether it's for Lassa fever, whether it's for COVID-19 or any other disease that requires isolation or quarantining people, we can have a comfortable place where this isolation can happen.
Taking delivery of the equipment on behalf of the Chief Medical Director, the Chairman, Medical Advisory Council, Professor Gim Ngim, assures the public of a 24-hour service at the center.
Yesterday, the CMD and the entire management team, we were here. We've structured out how we will put staff 24 hours on duty in this center.
The hospital management is thankful to the state government for its promptness in ensuring the state has a proper isolation center. In Calabar, Achibong Basi, NTA News.
And still on health matters, also, the Ebonyi state government is leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that the coronavirus disease does not find its way into the state, as it has instituted measures to combat the pandemic. Neka Oko reports that part of the measures is the construction of a holding area in the state capital.
The isolation center, which is at the verge of completion and equipped with necessary facilities, is to ensure that anyone showing symptoms of the coronavirus is quarantined while investigations are carried out.
We have identified 8 entry points into Ebonyi State, and we are establishing screening points so that anybody that is coming to Ebonyi State is screened with thermal scanners. State government has also procured vehicles, ambulances, 8 ambulances and 8 Helos vans, all of them attached to all the screening zones.
Other measures instituted by the state government include law banning sale of face masks and hand sanitizers above normal market price, town hall meeting with stakeholders and all expatriates living in the state, inauguration of an interministerial committee on coronavirus, and launch of Zero COVID-19 campaign in all parts of the state.
We provide the entire world the opportunity to see what Ebonyi is doing in the area of health to ensure safety of our Edo State.
Then all the council chairmen in all the AGs have equally done the sensitization of the people.
Meanwhile, residents have stepped up their personal and environmental hygiene as a way of protecting themselves from the deadly virus and other infectious diseases. According to the World Health Organization, more than 4,200 people have died globally from COVID-19, while over 118,000 infections have been confirmed in dozens of countries, including Nigeria. In Abakaliki, Nneka Oko, NTA News.
We will take some messages now. More reports ahead. Thanks for rejoining us on Nationwide. President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the Kebbi State government for sustained commitment towards growing the fortunes of her people and their well-being, while establishing a reputation of a hub for cultural tourism. The president stated this at the annual Argungu Fishing Festival in Kebbi State.
We shall continue to support you all with access to credit, adequate inputs, access to markets, and policies that will promote and support your competitiveness. We will also implement programs that will sustain the harmonious coexistence between all categories of farmers.
We have seen improvement in the dairy value chain where milk aggregation schemes are taking place, support for the livestock farmers and companies involved in processing dairy products are increasing their visibility.
The Argungu Fishing Festival, instituted to mark the end of the war between the Sokoto Caliphate region and Kebbi Kingdom in the northern part of Nigeria, has evolved over the years. Modifications were, however, made to this age-long festival to reflect the nation's strength, agriculture, and promote her cultural heritage and national unity. To the legislature now, the Senate has passed 11 constitution amendment bills for second reading. These include the bill that seeks to provide for the establishment of the state police and to replace the name Nigeria Police Force with Nigeria Police. The Police Act Amendment Bill is aimed at ensuring effective community policing in Nigeria. Others include the bill that seeks to establish separate tribunals to hear and determine pre-election matters and election petitions in presidential, national and state assembly, as well as governorship election. The bill that seeks to specify the period within which the president or governor of a state shall present the appropriation bill before the national or state assembly, and the one that seeks to amend the Federal Capital Territory Customary Code Act, which seeks, among other issues, to expand the jurisdiction of the court to include the trial of criminal matters, also passed second reading. The Open Defecation Prohibition Bill was among the ones that passed first reading. Still staying with the legislature, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has sought the understanding of Academic Staff Union of Universities on the enrollment of its members into the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System, IPIS, which he stressed is a federal law. At a meeting convened by the House with ASU, the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Labor to address the 2-week warning strike by ASU members, the Speaker allayed fears that the enrollment of ASU members into IPs will affect research and knowledge transfer amongst tertiary institutions. He appealed to ASU to suspend the strike in view of efforts to resolve the issues at stake. The Minister of State Labor, Festus Keyamo, SAN, Minister of State Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, and Chairman of ASU, Abiodun Ogunyemi, were in attendance. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Ayimiro is standing by at the Federal Secretariat to give us an update on the government labor negotiation. Hello, Emmanuel. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, studio. I'm at the Ministry of Labor where the meeting between the federal government representative and the ASU executive is ongoing. Before the meeting proceeded to a closed meeting, the two parties have agreed to quickly address the issues that has led to the 2 weeks warning strike. While the federal government says that it is open to dialogue and is ready to see that peace return to the Nigerian universities, ASU on their own part said that actually that the issue of the IPPIS is not actually what has really led to the warning strike, but that they are interested in seeing that the Nigerian universities are ranked with other top universities around the world, and that whatever it will take, they are ready to make sacrifices, and whatever it will take, they are ready to give into that. They are ready to pursue that goal. The federal government on its own part said that that is not a problem that will be looked into. Although the minister was not too happy that ASU did not follow the right procedures in the proceeding on strike, but however, the need to allow peace to reign in Nigerian university is what the minister is actually, the federal government representatives are actually after.
Okay, Emmanuel, peace to reign in Nigeria universities, that's the goal. We will get back to you maybe later for more updates. Thank you very much. Moving on, it would seem that Nigeria, like the rest of the world, is in for the long haul with changes in the climate sparking extreme weather conditions. Over the last weeks, Nigerians have experienced escalating heat waves with temperatures in most parts, including coastal areas, hovering far above 35 degrees. Well, Lagos State is now amplifying predictions by NIMET that coastal states are likely to experience more rains this year. And for the metropolis, where the rains have already started, the cessation date is estimated to be around November the 26th. Lagos is known to be flood-prone, especially during the rainy season, often experiencing flooding in some parts. Jennifer Igwe joins us live now from Lagos. Hello, Jennifer. Could you give us a sense of clarity on the seasonal rainfall prediction and preparations in place ahead of the anticipated date and for the long term as well?
The Lagos State government, thank you, Hawa. The Lagos State government recently amplified the prediction by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency that the state will have an average of 240 days of rainfall in year 2020. Now, if you look at the whole year is 360, and you're talking of rainfall for 240 days. If you have to do a subtraction, it will be like 125 days of no rainfall. And because we've already spent 2 months, and that's like 60 days out of the 125 days, it makes it look kind of alarming. But people should have in mind that it's just a prediction. It might not happen like that. And 240 days of rainfall might also mean that some days will just be light showers and drizzling. And in Lagos State, being a coastal city, the slightest rainfall, even drizzling, can even cause flooding. And we have canals, smaller canals that discharge into bigger ones, like the ones behind me, that discharge into the Lagos Lagoon and ocean. And with the impact of climate change causing sea level rise, sometimes the tide is high and the water cannot discharge into the ocean, and there will be an inflow causing flooding.
Talking about discharging into the ocean, Jennifer, we know that Lagos Island, Ikeja, Ekpe, and few other places I expect usually experience very heavy downpour, and are also expected, based on the prediction, to likely to have a more downpour this year. How exactly are residents being sensitized?
The Lagos State government has started massive education using indigenous languages, and because they will always have some kind of disasters during the rainy season, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency has a plan to ensure that is put in check. And I have with me the General Manager of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency here on the location to educate us more on the plans they have to ensure that the havoc we normally experience when there's rainfall does not happen.
Well, as far the NIMET forecast, the leading agency, the Ministry of Environment, have started carrying out a lot of sensitization and advocacy. The LASEMA have called all its stakeholders to review and to standardize our state contingency plan. With that, we've commenced aggressive advocacy, sensitization. We realize that the attitude of Lagos State ranged from 77 meters above seawater and 25 meters below seawater, and the most prone local government has been identified. Lagos Island is one of the most prone area. We've divided the local government into severely affected or highly affected flood.
So you have a plan to ensure that if there's any disaster that is managed?
Yeah, we have a plan. We have a holistic response plan, and we started carrying out simulation exercises around this plan. We have identified our relief camp that we can camp people if need be. We have identified where we can put people in B, and we appeal to the Lagosian that they should remain cool, calm, and collected. Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide, is on top of it.
That last part is crucial, because one thing that happens is that most times when the canals are cleared, almost immediately they are clogged by waste because of indiscriminate disposal of waste, particularly plastic waste. And the Lagos State government, as part of their sensitization initiative, is creating awareness so that people change their attitude in that direction. Back to you, studio.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. And moving on, the task of enabling greater growth and development of the Nigerian economy requires joint collaboration between the public and private sectors. President Muhammadu Buhari said this when he hosted critical stakeholders in Nigeria's private sector following the successful conclusion of the Growing for Growth 2.0 roundtable session. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi reports.
This government remains steadfast in seeking to promote growth of the Nigerian economy and, by extension, the growth of the Nigerian private sector.
President Muhammadu Buhari reiterating the commitment of his government to working with all Nigerians for continued growth. A key focus of the administration, the president says, has been diversification of the Nigerian economy and the proven level of self-sufficiency in food production. explaining that the measures help support faster economic growth, create employment opportunities for youth, and reduce import bills.
Following recent recession and supported by growth-enhancing fiscal and monetary policy measures, GDP growth has remained in positive territory for the first 11 quarters.
The president also comments on the coronavirus, which he says is having significant negative impact on the global economy, especially on crude oil price. These challenges, the president notes, only serve to reinforce the country's determination to be self-sufficient, and that the vital role of Nigerian private sector cannot be overemphasized.
I assure you that this government would pay close attention to your recommendations as part of your efforts towards developing policies and programs that will enable improved economic growth and creation of jobs.
The Roundtable 2.0 was organized by the Central Bank of Nigeria to look into ways to get around the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the Nigerian economy. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says he is optimistic that Nigeria would get over the effect of the virus.
I hope and pray that in the next few months, as has been said, we will faithfully implement some of those plans, especially the financing plan, which looks very exciting indeed. And I hope that all of this will work well.
Participants from the financial sector agreed to create a special purpose vehicle working with the federal government and key development finance agencies. The well-structured special purpose vehicle will be used to mobilize close to 1.5 trillion naira in funds from banks, pension funds, and other financial institutions to fund road, power, and port infrastructure. The recommendations were also made on ways to improve broadband penetration in the country.
The first Going for Growth Roundtable session was held in 2019, which looked at ways in which the CBN would help shape economic outcomes in the country. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Deepening the capital market for a vibrant commodities exchange is the focus of the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission in the wake of present realities. To this end, the Commission is proposing a commodities trading ecosystem that will be central to granting more market opportunities to investors and key to diversifying the economy. Over now to Benny Adams.
Diversification of Nigeria's economy beyond oil and gas is the best-selling narrative in the Nigerian economic space at present. To achieve this, Acting Director General of SEC, Mary Uduk, says adequate attention to agriculture to boost food security, enhance job creation, facilitate production of raw materials for agro-processing, and harnessing the nation's vast mineral resources is the way to go.
A structured market for commodities will provide a fairer playing field for local market participants while providing the required infrastructure for the international markets.
Mary Uduk said the Commission is collaborating with relevant stakeholders to implement the 10-year Capital Market Master Plan and make Nigeria one of the world's most improved and Africa's largest economy by 2025.
The capital market has the capacity to unlock better access to credit and finance for the sector through innovative financing structures and products.
The SEC is seeking to unlock the potential of commodity exchanges, boost value addition to farmers, and provide investment opportunities across the value chain in Nigeria. Benny Adams, NTA News.
To the judiciary now, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division this Thursday reserved judgment to a later date on the appeal filed by Senator Ifeanyi Ubah against the judgment of a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, which ordered his removal from office as senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District at the National Assembly. Viera Chinguba has more.
At the last adjourned date, the court had ordered the remittance of the original case file from the lower court to Court of Appeal, which the court has received. The three-man panel of justices of the appellate court, led by Justice Steve Adder, on production of a file from the lower court, directed that the file be taken to registry to be documented. When the matter was called, counsel to the appellant informed the court that he has withdrawn 2 of his earlier applications. The respondent's counsel did not oppose the move, and the court subsequently struck them out. Counsel to the first and fourth respondent, Mohammed and Professor Laniyo, urged the court to dismiss the entire application on the ground that the appeal by virtue of Section 285, subsection 10 of the 1999 Constitution as amended is statute barred, and that political matters have lifespan of 60 days at the Court of Appeal, which has elapsed. Counsel to the appellant, Onyechi Ikpeazu, SAN, urged the court to dismiss the objection on the basis that the application is incompetent because the originating summons was not signed by any counsel. He also drew the attention of the court to the need to reconcile the conflicting issues by relying on the original case file from the lower court. In the appeal predicted on 4 grounds, Oba's counsel had insisted that the appellant was denied fair hearing by the trial court and that he was neither served with the originating processes nor hearing motives with respect to the suit that led to his sack from the Senate. He also argued that the court lacked territorial jurisdiction. The parties, however, declined comment. In Abuja, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
And our Benin Network Center is next. Obehi is our guide. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you too, Awa, and thank you very much for joining us in Benin. The Edo State Police Command has clamped down on some criminal elements who have been disturbing public peace. The State Commissioner of Police, Lawan Tanko Jimita, while briefing newsmen at the command's headquarters in Benin on the achievements recorded, put the number of suspects arrested at 41. Udakobong Achibong reports.
A breakdown of the suspects showed 30 cultists, 1 armed robber and 5 kidnappers, among whom kidnapped and murdered a student of Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, in December 2019, and suspected kidnappers of 4 lecturers and 13 students of the Department of Geology, University of Benin at Igara, while on field studies. Others include 1 suspect allegedly involved in unlawful possession of cannabis, 3 arrested suspects for rape, and 2 others for child abuse.
They bring me here because of I buy some me, but then some army men now arrest me for where I buy it.
The cultist,
The command wish to place on record the continued assistance of other security stakeholders and the cooperation of the good people of Edo State in volunteering credible information that has led to these laudable achievements.
5 locally made guns, 13 cartridges and 4 extended cartridges were recovered in Benin. Udwakobong Achibong, NTA News.
March 26th. This year's Purple Day, to be marked on March 26, key players hold symposium to end stigmatization against sufferers of epilepsy, in line with this year's theme, Epilepsy and the Society. Ifyo Yakiri reports.
10 years ago, this woman began the campaign to end discrimination against those living with epilepsy. This is because of the pain she felt battling with her epileptic child.
He's living normal life, and that is the kind of life I want everybody with epilepsy to live.
It is for this reason that our foundation is raising awareness on the ailment.
An epileptic should be accorded as much help as we do to other illnesses.
We are actually scared that if I go close to the person that has epilepsy, I will contact it. But now I've been more enlightened that yes, you cannot contact it like that.
This symposium attracted the Director General of NTA, Yakubum Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Zonal Director, NTA Benin Network Center, Pauline Igbano, and other key players whose role in eradicating this scourge is visible.
That they have brain condition does not mean that they should be excluded from the environment or the society.
From this symposium, it appears that victims of stigmatization will soon have a voice.
We are going to prepare a private bill to support those with epilepsy.
The event avails well-deserving personalities to be recognized. One of them is Pauline Igbano, the Zonal Director of NTA Benin Network Center, for using the medium NTA to create more awareness on epilepsy. In Benin, Ivie Oyahiri, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Benin. Nationwide continues with Hawa in Abuja.
Sure, Obehi. Moving on, the paramount ruler of the TIV, Professor James Ayatse, has described the NTA as a pride of Nigeria and trailblazer in the media industry. The TIV stated this when the Zonal Director, NTA Network Center, Makudi Pang Dung Yang, led management of the center on a visit to the TIV's palace in Boko. Charles Abba reports.
The essence of the visit by the management of NTA Network Center Makudi to the palace of the TIV is to seek his royal blessings. His Royal Majesty, Professor James Ayase, who lauded NTA for its exemplary role in broadcasting, promised to use his good offices to assist the work of the center.
I believe that in spite of the challenges, my assessment, you've done very well. You've been able to cover very effectively news and the many aspects of our lives here in the network center.
Zonal Director of the center, Pam Dung Nyam, intimated the royal father that apart from the role of informing, educating and entertaining the people, NTA has continued to work with government and the traditional institutions to promote good governance, culture and values of the people. He, however, assured NTA's disposition to partnering any developmental outfits to maintain the unity of the nation if supported in mitigating some of its challenges.
We are here not to come and separate ourselves from your people, but to get swallowed or consumed or enveloped among your people so that the true Nigerian value will actually be projected and seen.
The visit, the management believes, will enhance synergy between the traditional council and the center. From Boko, Charles Abba, NTA News.
It's time to take another break. More reports shortly. Thanks for rejoining us. Traffic situation in Lagos is increasingly becoming a hard nut to crack, as the closure of the Alaka section of the Eko Bridge has brought more hardship on Lagosians. Michael Olaleye reports that the alternative routes provided by the state government could not handle the situation.
An unusual calmness on the Alaka section of Eko Bridge, a quietness that is rare on a weekday in Lagos. Traffic has been diverted due to the deplorable state of the bridge and diffused to other areas around this location. The impact is massive, especially on motorists and commuters coming from Ojuelegba Surulere, as the alternative provided at Ebonyi Under Bridge and Eric Moore could no longer cope with the volume of trucks and lorries.
The Costain Bridge is an alternative route for commuters navigating Lagos Island, but the project, which started about 6 months ago, is still under construction, and at peak period, a journey of 30 minutes could turn to 6 hours.
I've been the order for the past 2 hours now. If it's so, today's vehicle is all good, it's not a problem.
First way they go office now, you go affect them. Where office not being on, you go affect them. If you tell your guy hold up, you go say your guy make it come up for us very early, and it won't go possible. But it not be firewood.
You know, development comes with some bit of pressure and discomfort. But the beauty of it is, at the end of the day, is going to be for the benefit of all of us.
With increase in the loss of traffic hours, bracing up for the challenges in the coming days entails sleepless nights. This is because Eko Bridge is one of the 3 bridges that connects the Lagos mainland with the island, and with its present deplorable state, the number of vehicles expected under the 2 existing bridges will definitely increase. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
It's still nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's join Caleb now in Jos for more reports.
Hawa, and welcome to Jos. The Plateau State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Nimkam Ndamlar, has declared the 43 persons isolated in Wase local government free from coronavirus. This followed a review and examination carried out after the 14 days incubation period. Ashiv Gopep reports.
The quarantine followed the arrival of some Chinese nationals from China engaged in mining activities in Wase local government area of the state. They have since been in isolation and have completed the 14 days incubation period. None is said to have developed any sign or symptom of the disease.
All the 43 persons isolated did not have features of COVID-19. And as such, we declare them free. There is no case of coronavirus in Plateau State. And that should be very clear.
The Health Commissioner added that government, in readiness to combat the spread of the disease, is working closely with the Federal Ministry of Health and other relevant government agencies in handling this health emergency.
Avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth with unwashed hands. That's another measure that we need to do. We should clean and disinfect, frequently touch surfaces.
He therefore advised the public to avoid panicking or spreading unverified information about the disease, as government on its part is fully prepared to respond to the threat of coronavirus or any other health emergency. In Jos, Ashish Gopep, NTA News.
Plateau State will soon boast of being the highest producer and exporter of potato in Africa, as potatoes can now be produced in all parts of the state. Governor Simon Lalong dropped this cheering news during the distribution of 500 units of water pumps for irrigation farming and expressed his administration's support for farmers in the state. Priscilla Gumna reports that the beneficiaries are drawn from the 6 local governments of the southern zone.
It is on record that over 90% of potato produced in Nigeria comes from Plateau State. To boost its production in large scale for exportation, therefore, the state government is distributing the first phase of 500 units of water pumps to selected farmers in the 6 local governments that make up the southern zone of the state for irrigation farming.
In recent times, I have engaged both local and international investors on the development of potato farming and agriculture in general. Our ultimate goal is to not only feed the nation with potatoes, but also export to other countries in Africa and the world.
The Potato Value Chain Support Project has brought about an agricultural revolution in the state, with more windows of opportunities for investors.
We are very optimistic that we will have enough potatoes that are specifically designed to meet up the needs of our investors. And if that is done, the agro-processing will be enhanced, and that will also mean more money into the hands of our farmers and generate more revenue to the state government at large.
The distribution of the irrigation water pumps marks a milestone to the story of increased productivity in potato and other crops in the state. In Jos, Priscilla Gumnan, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. It's back to Hawa in Abuja for more news on Nationwide.
Remote Zenrate from our Jos Network Center. And moving on, the Nigeria Police River State Command has arrested 23 suspects and recovered 65 arms across different parts of the states in its effort to contain criminal activities in the state. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
In response to the rising criminality in the state, the Commissioner of Police said he gave marching orders to heads of tactical units to contain criminal activities in the state. Operatives of Operation Sting stormed Kana and Gukana local government areas where they destroyed 20 camps. Other joint operations in Eche, Emoha, Ubima, Elele, and Omerelu resulted in the killing of some gang leaders.
Operation Sting, in a combined operation with other sister security agencies, which lasted for 2 weeks, destroyed over 20 camps in Ogoni Forest. It was in the course of this operation that led to the death of the popular suspect called Ekweme Brown, alias Lucifer.
These operations, the Commissioner of Police noted, resulted in the arrest of 6 suspected cultists, 7 alleged kidnappers, 10 armed robbery suspects, 648 ammunition, and 20 laptops. On the alleged murder of Chima Ikunadu by operatives of Ego Crack Unit, the CP Dandaura called for patience from the public until the investigations are concluded on the matter.
We are going to disclose whatever we have investigated in that matter. We will make it known to members of the public.
The police further called for collaboration from the public in information sharing, while commending the state government for its support to the command. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Sports now. Delta State vows to retain title at Edo 2020. Tamara Ebiwe tells us more on sports update.
Plans are on for the 4th Chief of Defense Staff Half Marathon scheduled for June 28, as well as 10 kilometers peace walk built for